So, welcome learners to this module number 19 on graphical organizer tools, concepts and educational uses by Syed Usman Ahmed, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Engineering, Zakir Hussain College of Engineering Technology. Dear learners, we are going to cover the following topics in this coming presentation. Number 1, what is graphical organizer? Number 2, why they are effective? Number 3, types of graphical organizers, and then we will see when to use graphical organizers, and lastly we will see the benefits of graphical organizers. So, let us begin our topic with the definition of graphical organizers, which is also called as GO in short form. Graphical organizers can also be called as visual organizers. These GO or VO act as a tool or a process to build work knowledge by relating similarities of meaning to the definition of a word. This tool can help students understand concepts, relationships, analyze and organize data, and understand sequences and systems. The best thing is it is not subject dependent. So, student of any stream, example mathematics, science, engineering, etc., can use these tools effectively in their day-to-day life. Now, let us see why they are so effective. Graphical organizers helps to break down the information to the main idea, which helps to understand the main idea problem, leaving aside the unnecessary details. For example, if we have information, we can break down into 3 or 4 chunks, that is chunk 1, chunk 2 or chunk 3. So, these graphical organizers require students to construct responses which target higher order thinking skills and build analytical, critical, creative thinking skills in all academic areas. Not in 1 or 2 academic areas, but it take care of all academic areas. As we can see in this diagram, the graphical organizer can be classified into 4 types, namely first, cyclical organizers. These are the organizers showing the sequence of event in a process. There is a difference between a program and a process. A program is a static piece of information, and a process is a program in execution. So, we can say a process is a dynamic entity in comparison to a program. Second is conceptual organizers. These are the organizers showing how a main concept is supported by facts, evidences and characteristics. Third is hierarchical organizers. These are the organizers showing the relation between a concept and its subordinate level of characteristics. And last, we will see about sequential organizers, organizers showing events in the chronological order. By chronological order, we mean arranging the things falling one after other with respect to time. The use of graphical organizers can enhance students' thinking skills in first, generating ideas, second, analyzing ideas, third, reflecting ideas, and finally, they will help in compiling informations. Now, graphical organizers can be used before instructions are given to activate thinking. They can also even be used during instructions. That means, while the instructions are being given, we can also use graphical organizers. It will help them to record or process the information, and finally, they can also be used at the end of the instruction, that after the instruction has been given, we can also use these graphical organizers. They are used to access and understand the processed information. So, now we will one by one go into deep understanding of these type of graphical organizers. The first is cyclic organizers. These are the organizers showing the sequence of events in process. It helps to think and get your thought on paper, where you can organize them and share it with others. Now, let us understand this cyclical organizer with the help of an easy example of cycle of a plant. If we want to teach students about normal cycle of plant, we can draw a blank cyclical map as shown here with the main concept in the center. We will use the main concept to start with the concept, and all the events that complete the cycle should be around it. Then just populate the list of events like seed falls on the ground, then the seed germinates, and then the plant grow, and finally we can see beautiful flowers. This type of understanding helps the student grasp the concept as well as the properties and the structure of the concept. It will help the student to memorize the particular concept and write it in their own words. Secondly, we will now see what are concept definition maps. Concept definition map is an organizer that helps students to focus attention on the main concept or of a definition. These may include categories, properties, and illustrations or examples. It enriches students' understanding of the concept, but also encourages them to integrate their own experiences with the definition. So, we can say the concept definition map helps students to understand the concept and adds their own definition to that concept in their defining that particular concept. As we see in this diagram, that a concept definition map is a diagram that allows students to analyze a term or a concept and develop a detailed definition by answering three basic questions. First, what is it? It defines the concept. The second is, what is it like? It defines the characteristic or the properties of that particular concept. And finally, we also use some examples. So, now let us try to draw a concept definition map for the mathematical structure such as rectangle. At the end of this activity, we will be able to define the term rectangle with all its properties and providing some examples as we see in the diagram. The concept is the defining of the term rectangle. The first question is, what is it? Tells us that it is a quadrilateral, that means a structure which has four sides. So, the concept is being defined by the term quadrilateral. The second question is, what is it like? It tells us that it has four right angles, it has two pairs of parallel sides, and opposite sides are equal. These are the basic characteristics of a quadrilateral, which may be called as a rectangle. Finally, the last question should be answered for examples, which tell us that some examples of this rectangular type of structure is tabletop, a cell phone, or a paper. Now, with these details, we are now in a position to define the term rectangle. The term rectangle now can be defined as a rectangle is a quadrilateral with four sides, such that two pairs of sides are parallel and opposite sides are equal. Example includes a tabletop, a cell phone, or a paper. The concept definition map thus helps to retain knowledge for a longer period of time, and the student can frame their own definition of rectangle with different properties and different examples. Now, let us see what are hierarchical diagrams. Hierarchical diagram organizers can be used to help students see the superordinate or the subordinate categories of a concept or a topic. It is generally a tree type structure. It clarifies relationships between and among concepts and topics in different levels. As we can see in the diagram, where a module M1 is divided into submodule M2 and M3, and further it again is subdivided into more modules. Let us now understand hierarchical map with the help of an example of a term firm. This hierarchy diagram depicts different type of firms. Basically, with this diagram we can find out that a firm can be divided into two types, namely private enterprise and a public enterprise. And further, the private enterprise can be more divided and can be understood that it is of more categories like partnership or a limited company. If I want to teach what is limited company, the student can understand that limited company is a part of a private enterprise and that too is a part of a firm. Now, let us talk about finally the sequential organizers. The sequential organizers are a type of a generic graphic organizer that helps students to see the sequential relationship between events in a text. They can show a process or portray an event sequence in a simplified manner. That means, I can use sequence organizers to represent complex properties, complex systems using a simplified manner. They can help student identify the cause and effect relationship. That means, a student can see the cause, can give the cause and see the effect also in the relationship of different processes. Let us now see some type of sequential styles. The first type of style that we want to see is ranking. It is used when we prioritize elements from most important to the least important sequence. Example, relative position or standing, or a series of things or a person, or an orderly arrangement from first to last. All these are the examples of ranking, and we can demonstrate this with the diagram as shown. Next is continuum scale. It is used for timelines showing historical events or ages. Example, grade levels in the school. That means, you move from class 1 to class 2 to class 12. So, it can be shown by the help of continuum scale. Second, we can use it for degrees of something like weight, increasing of the weight or changes of weight. And finally, we can also use it for rating scales. That means, achievements in school, you are getting 1 star, you are getting 2 star, you are getting 5 star, excellent, good. You can use this at the help of continuum scale. Next, we will see that another type of sequential organizer is a cycle, which we have already seen is a separate organizer, but that there is a difference between these two organizers. Cycle, it is used to show a series of events interact to produce a set of results again and again. That means, we can use cyclical organizers only if we are having a single sequence of event, but if we want to see the events again and again, we need to use a sequential cycle organizer. Example of sequential cycle organizer is weather phenomena, a cycle of achievements and failures, or a life cycle. We have seen the example of life cycle earlier for the plant life cycle. Next, we will study about bridging snapshot. It is used to see changes over time, reveal the sequence of step by step methods, or illustrate complex processes and show cause and effect. This bridging snapshot will tell you about what are the causes and what are the effects of a particular cause that changes the process in time by time nature. Next, we will see the series of events change. It is used to describe the stages of something or the steps in a linear procedure. How to neutralize an acid. It is a step or a linear procedure how to neutralize an acid. You can represent this process with the help of a series of event change. You will put one event, you will put another event, and finally, you will reach that last event of neutralization of an acid, or a sequence of events. That is how feudalism led to the formation of nation of states. So, that is example of a sequence of events happening on different times, but it will lead to a final event, or the goals, actions and outcomes of a historical figure or a character in a novel. For example, the rise and fall of a Napoleon. So, you can define Napoleon, you can take for an art student, he can study Napoleon and he can visualize the goals of Napoleon, the actions that he did, and the outcome which is recorded in the history for the figure Napoleon, and can draw this series of event chain and can learn about these type of actions and events. And now, in the last, we will study about problem and solution outcome. It is used to show the problem solving process by defining the components of the problem and the attempted solution, and the basic elements of the problem may vary, but the process is similar. So, this type of approach, the problem solving outline helps the students of engineering or applied technologies, where they have a problem, they can draft a solution, and they will show the sequence of events that will lead to the solution. So, now this particular sequential diagrams, sequential organizers will help you in future to define what are the sequences, how can we use the sequential diagrams, how can you use hierarchical diagrams, how you can use concept definition diagrams, and hope that this lecture have provided you with the basic information about graphical organizer tools.